Now I request Dr. Prajapati to please come. And Dr. Prajapati, as all of us know, he is known to be, I think, one of the thought leader behind functional foods and probiotics. During my own career also, I have learned so much, from his articles and research papers. So, Dr. Prajapati, and because, sir, a little bit on the time, you just take time, but just look at because now it's passing by very fast. So yeah,
Sure.
please, Dr. Prajapati.
Sure,
Yeah.
sir. So thank you all for joining us, and I will be briefly discussing these 2 points which Kuldeep ji mentioned in his mail to me. NPD in functional dairy foods category with probiotics, and our universities and NPD professional. So go back. Next slide. When we talk about milk, we need not waste any time in proving its nutritional value. Everything is known. So scientists are at ease that milk has all these factors which is required for a good natural food, and that is why we'll call milk as a nearly complete food. Next, please. Now, when we talk about developing products using probiotics, milk is an ideal vehicle, and that is why nearly 60% of the functional foods or probiotics are milk-based. And apart from the healthy image which we have a lot of opportunities of making different varieties and novelties when we have milk-based products. We have a very good food matrices, especially the milk proteins which are present in the milk. They give a very good buffering action to the cultures during the product manufacture, as well as during their transit into gastrointestinal tract, because we want that probiotic culture to reach in live condition to your intestine. So that is where the milk has a very high merit for developing such products. And then regarding nutrition, we have not to prove anything further. And because with the same nutrients, it is good medium for the lactic acid bacteria also, which we want to grow in them. While if you go for other alternative, we have to add nutritional ingredients into that. And the very well-known gel structures of yogurt and cheese and other things, they are very good for providing support to the probiotic cultures. So with this background, I will just mention a few categories of products which can be explored as NPD. See, fermented products are preferred because during the process of fermentation, the transfer of lactose or change of proteins into a more digestible nutrient is well proved. When we say milk is a nutritious food, we say dahi is one step ahead of milk, because the same all the ingredients which are present in milk, maybe protein or maybe fat or maybe lactose, is more nutritious. And that is why I just listed here. We have yogurt, dahi, buttermilk, lassi, cheese, everything. All these things can easily go into a probiotic category. We have a very, very big opportunity in exploring all these things, and many of the companies are doing these things. In this thing, as initially Deepak ji mentioned about the smoothies and the Chobani Greek yogurt, actually India was knowing this thing, and lassi is similar to what we have, and Srikhand, which is very popular in Gujarat and Maharashtra. We avoid sugar from that, and then it will be probably better than a Greek yogurt. So these are the products which can be explored by the dairy industry to a further extent. And we also a non-fermented kind of products where we can use the same matrices like ice cream or chocolate and adding live proven probiotic cultures into that. We also have a category of dried products and infant formula. Actually, we are also getting many sachets having a live cells of probiotic cultures. No doubt in the market, most of such dried products are having a spore form of probiotics, which I do not recommend. But if you have a live product, then it will be a better one to explore. Apart from this, we can explore dairy-based ingredients. I heard a lot of talks about the lactoferrins and immunoglobulins, especially exploiting the colostrum, drying it and using it as a immunoprotective agent. Dried powder is available. Probably Sumu Dairy has started giving it free to the members. And whey proteins are well known as the functional dairy ingredients which can be used. And certain things which are forgotten, I do not know why any dairy industry is not coming forward to exploit products like raita. It is blended with fruits and vegetables. Fruits, vegetables, and milk are complementary to each other, and they make kind of superfood. One of the superfood which our Vedas had given is Panchamrit, where we have milk, fermented milk plus honey, and this is an ideal symbiotic product. I advocate this thing in all my talks. While milk and cereal-based products, probably our grandmothers were knowing this thing, and that was the initial winning food which we had. Milk plus wheat, milk plus rice, such products are really at top to exploit in such situations. And then addition of phytosterol, actually there are many plant-based materials. We have a very rich knowledge of Ayurveda and medicines. We have many herbs and plants. And if these can be incorporated at a appropriate dose in certain available foods, it can make a wonderful product which will be natural, which is highly nutritious, and it has got a specific therapeutic value also. So all these things can be done, but I have put in a box that developing a probiotic product is not that easy as we see, because most of the probiotic benefits are strain specific. So what strain we are using, that is important. And also the functionality depends upon how you have processed it, because when we develop this product, the culture is the heart, and we have to protect it. Then only the product will be good. You have to keep it alive. You have to take care in packaging, distribution, storage, and also till it reaches to the consumer. So this is something about the product. The next topic which Kuldeep told me is talk about the professionals in country. This is specifically to the Indian mentality. So please don't get misguided by my statements. I am very sure that there is no dearth of talents in Indian food scientists. And these talents are not properly exploited by the industry. And there are many reasons for this. Actually, we have very poor linkages between the universities, research institutions, and the industry. And the main drawbacks which are highlighted in this box is that the skepticism of the Indian food industry. There is a lack of trust in the universities and research institutions. There is also lack of patience. Our industry wants results overnight. If they give a research project today, they will say tomorrow, please give us the results and you want to use the lab. Also, there is a hesitation to take risk, especially with some of the dairies I have seen that they don't want to try anything new and so. And almost, I will say that the local dairy industry in the country hardly invest anything R&D or innovation. So these are the major drawbacks in this. We have to promote, we have to motivate those who are really working in the university so that they come forward, and the industry give them good backing so that they will help in developing new products for the industry. Similarly, there are so many lacunas with the universities also. There is no clear-cut policy of technology transfer, that how you come out of the university and give it to that. There is lack of motivation of scientists to say, for example, if any scientist or professor is there and doing good work in the industry, in the university, and if you want to become a partner in the industry, it is little bit difficult. Many things are not becoming official. No doubt, few people join unofficially also and work. But this kind of policy problems are still existing in our country, and some extent, some of the youngsters especially have lack confidence that when I am going for a pilot trials or when I'm going industry trials, whether my product will work or fail or so. So this kind of risk factor is also taking place in people, and that is why some of the talents are getting demotivated. But be sure that if you want to explore, the talent is not lacking. So this is what I wanted to present. I will just, if you permit, I will just would like to make a quick point about.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
Deepak ji told about those non-dairy alternatives for vegans. So as far as you want to be vegan because of ethical reasons, there is no problem. But if you think that for nutrition reason or for health reason, I want to become vegan, it is a myth, because you can have analogs. See, we are going to have another session at 4 o'clock today on dairy products and analogs. And people blame milk fat and appreciate vegetable fat and want to have some misconception. So probably nature created the one of the best fat content, that is nature's fat in milk, and we should not blame that. The reason for accepting an vegan is a different, and not for these reasons. So probably we'll discuss it later on, but this issue should be regarded, and because most of the people, especially in our state also, they are non-vegetarians, the animal protein coming from milk is one of the very essential items that people take milk and be healthy. So thank you very much, Kuldeep ji. I will take up questions whenever you allow me to talk. Hello.
Thanks a lot, sir. I think Mr. Sharma is slightly muted. I now have him available.
Yeah. I'm unmuted now. Yeah. Yes. So thank you very much, sir. And it is always great listening to you. And most of the time, you know, that teacher who is there inside you comes out, and immediately we change our form to a student. Two major points, that two major learning, I think, for all of us in this webinar, which comes from your deliberation. Number one is the superfood, which is, I think, a great idea. And I think it could be a precursor to a kind of revolution which may occur after COVID, where, you know, you have fusion, you have superfoods coming up, because I think I've learned from teachers like you, the moment a fiber is added to dairy, then milk becomes a complete food. Yeah. The second most important thing which you have raised, and I think I acknowledge that thing, that is the industry academic interface. So I think everyone, you know, both the industry as well as the universities as well as the government should come out with some kind of I would rather say pragmatic programs where, you know, better sharing and better collaboration could be done.